Hello. Happy, well, whatever day of the week it is for you when you're watching this. For me, it's Thursday recording, and I do plan to post it on Tuesday. So, anyway, happy Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, whatever it is for you. This layout is another layout using the Creative Agenda and it's Echo Park collection. And I forgot the other collection. I'm so sorry. But it's basically this color palette with like pinks and turquoise and corals and that sort of thing. One of my favorite color palettes. And the picture, if you saw it in the beginning, I didn't really stay on it too long, but it's a picture of me and my daughter's arms with our Garmins and the number of steps that we had walked that day. And I think it ended up being like 11 miles. Oh, there it is. We were in New York on vacation, New York City, and we typically will she likes to walk and my husband likes to walk and I enjoy walking as well. So we walk instead of doing like taxis and that sort of thing. We will take subway if it's, going somewhere far away, but generally speaking, we try to walk. And our hotel was near Times Square, so it was pretty fun. But we did do a lot of walking. So I wanted to capture the fact, and honestly, the whole purpose of this is to just illustrate we typically do that if we're on vacation. Like we're not the lay on the beach kinds usually. It's technically, I probably am. It's just I have to follow along with the fam. So anyway, we tend to walk and go and do and all that. So the whole point of the layout is to talk about how this is how we vacation, which is to stay moving at all times. So before I started the camera, I had traced this star by hand on the backside of a piece of pink paper. And it took me several tries. I did have to erase and do and all that. But anyway, I had traced it, cut it out, and then I put it on a piece of craft paper and then cut a little mat around it. So I'd done that off camera. And now you may have also noticed at the beginning, or maybe not, you may have to go back and look. That's fine. I had a little sketch that I had written on a piece of paper. I'm sure I got off of Pinterest. You can probably check my Pinterest board for that. But I had found a sketch and I traced it. It actually called for two photographs, but I changed to just the one. Um, and I'm kind of following that sketch just a little bit. So I've created a large kind of vertical block with the flowers, and then a couple of horizontal blocks, one with the orange, and I guess those are little crosses, and then that little, it's kind of alphabety, but there's words spelled out. You can see some of them right now, like friend and together. I wouldn't suggest that's technically part of the theme, but hey, it's cute. And now I'm cutting these banner pieces, these horizontal banner pieces out of, again, some papers from the collection. And you may have noticed the diagonal strap wasn't quite long enough, so I did cut it so I could spread it out underneath the photograph and the star. And I did the same here with this little, um, I don't even know what to call that color. It's not really turquoise, but it's kind of turquoise. So I'm going through and I'm figuring out, you know, where those need to lay. And then the sketch called for like a little notebook punch, the notebook edge punch, like a little border. So I'm going to, well, of course, I'm going to piddle around with this, make sure it's laying exactly where I want it to be because, that matters since I haven't actually glued anything down. Does it really matter if it's perfect if you haven't glued it down? So there's where I had done the notebook punch on the edge of that pink paper, and I'm going to trim that off to create this little border. And in a second, you're going to see that I kind of started thinking, you know what? I think these papers need a little bit more separation. And I do end up matting them on white cardstock here. So yeah, this is where I've decided, you know what? I really want a little more separation. Um, if you're new to scrapbooking, then I'll just tell you, you can separate your papers with either mats, like I'm doing here, or you can ink, or you'll notice in a moment when I do the banners, I'll create an outline with pen. So there's a couple different ways you can separate papers or kind of create some distinction between your layers. But I decided to mat these with white paper. So I'm rebuilding my layers. So again, as you noticed, when I had gone through and put them just exactly the right way, and then I had to undo it. I do want to, when I trim this piece of paper, I decided it was a little too thick, but I want to make sure. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm actually just measuring it. uh, that's funny. But I did when I trimmed that paper, make sure I had full rows. I didn't want to have, is where I was headed with that. I didn't want to have any letters like cut in half, so I'd made sure to cut full rows. But there you can see some of the words on it. I really like these collections. There's another, the second collection, and again, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now, but I mentioned in my last video that it's two collections that the color palettes are pretty similar, even though they're different collections. And I've enjoyed combining those, the stickers and um, the papers themselves just work really well together. And yeah, so I'm adding my photograph here. So yeah, as I said, we we typically, in all honesty, we don't go out traveling vacations a lot. Maybe once every year or two, we'll go somewhere. Most of our quote vacations, and I'm using the rabbit ear quote things, are staycations, or if they're not a staycation, they might be a drive to staycation. In other words, I think another video I did something where I said we'd gone to San Antonio, so it's within driving distance. We don't fly just a ton um, all the time. It's usually, like I said, once every year or so. Um, this one was New York. We've gone to Costa Rica, and we've done different things. So it's not like we've never gone anywhere, but we just don't go all over the place. I guess I'm putting my layers back down here, and that star actually gives me a little bit of fit because I kind of wanted the I wanted it to be on top of the photograph, but then I wanted to make sure I could see everything on the photograph. Here you'll see I've got both little, I don't know if there's legs or arms or you want to call those things, are up underneath the photograph. Ultimately, I end up putting the top little arm over the photograph because it doesn't really matter my hand. Honestly, it's more about the Garmin face. And okay, so that's where I'm using some craft paper that I had previously glued something to and then decided it didn't do right. I had also cut the stars matte out of it, so I'm just using that to now matte my. So my photograph has a white matte and then a craft matte. I really like this craft with this color palette too. I think it's really pretty. It's a nice neutral. So here's where I'm going to trim off my little notebook paper or notebook edged punched paper to go underneath my mat. All right, so now I've skipped ahead just a little bit. I'm sure I got up and did something. And I say skipped ahead. That's not really true. The camera stopped and I've started another little set of filming here. I'm going to glue my edge down to this orange set here. And I'm kind of creating some texture by like flicking the edges of the notebook papers or I keep saying notebook papers, the little punchy parts. I want a little bit of texture there, so I kind of flickered them up a little bit. And now I'm going to glue this, and of course it never stays exactly where I want it when I start. I've actually switched my ATG guns. I think this yellow one is what takes the bigger size tape. It's the 1/4 inch, I think it is. Or that's a lie, half inch. And I ran out, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I just bought 1/4 inch. And so now I'm using a pink gun. I don't know. I love my ATG, but then I get so aggravated because it kind of winds up funny. It doesn't always land on your paper where you want it and goops up, and I don't know. I did cut that flower paper to stretch a little bit. I think from the beginning, I think originally it was one sheet, and after I added all my little borders and other layers and that sort of thing, I did need to extend that. So I did trim it and create a little bit longer looking piece. All right, so that's all basically assembled. I'm still looking at that star a little bit. I'm gonna mess around with that some more, but I want my banners down there. I don't know that I think I started to put my photograph kind of straight up and down, and then I decided in the sketch there was two photographs, but they were a little bit wonky. So I ended up making that photograph, I think, a little bit wonky ultimately. And it could be because I wanted the star a certain angle. Now you see I've got the little arm of the star going over my hand. Again, I don't really care about my hand. It was more about the Garmin. Um, so it's okay that the photograph gets covered up a little bit. Obviously, I wouldn't do something like this if there was a face or some detail that I wanted to make sure I could see. Okay, so now I've layered my I want my little banners to, I like the little points to kind of show a certain way. So I layered the green one over the diagonal stripe, and then there's my little pinchers. I'm attaching that, and I want to line up the banners the same place. So again, it's to appear when it's behind the photograph, it's to appear that it's all one piece of paper. So I use my T-square to line those up. And then I want my little points to be just right. Okay, now I need to I find myself doing this a lot too. Like I'll start layering and gluing and I'll do it all and then I'll realize um, at some point that I have actually never laid it down onto the main piece of my base paper. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, so here is again, I'm going to try this. Do I want the photograph over the star? Do I want it under the star? And I also need to be careful because I've got those banner strips going across and I need the star to cover up where the little gap is so it appears to be one long strip of paper. So I don't know why, but I keep going back and forth. And you'll notice there too, I started to put both arms over it, and I thought, no, that would have distracted from the Garmin face, and I didn't want that. Okay, so here's where I take the foam, and I'm going to create some dimension under my photograph with the fun foam. It's not, I don't think it's officially fun foam, but my foam there. Okay, now I think I finally settled on, I do like how this star looks with one little arm over it, but I do need to raise it up as well because um, the photograph is raised. So I got to create a little bit of dimension under the star. And that was funny that the star is not, because again, I hand traced it. The star is not 100% equal all the way. All the arms and are, they're all kind of different sizes. Well, not all different sizes, but they're different sizes. And so I had to figure out, wait, what was my top? What was my bottom? What was my side? Okay, so yeah, so I put the fun foam or the foam tape on two of the arms that are on the right side to create the lift on that side of the star. I want to have that shadow, that dimension there. And here's where I'm just pulling off the back of it. I have these little tweezers. I actually got them at Expo this year, or excuse me, last year. And I I was supposed to go this year, and I haven't really mentioned it yet, but I'm at home, working from home because, of course, the COVID-19 situation. I'm in Texas, and we do have shelter in place. I think pretty much everybody at this point does. Um, and I'm not considered essential. Our company is, and our field technicians are, but my particular role is I could not pretend to call myself an essential worker. So I'm working from home, um, which is another, I guess, nod anyway. This since our vacation was in New York, I'm just thinking of New York and what they're going through. So anyway, I have honestly completely lost my train of thought. I was talking about that star and why I'm at home. But anyway, so this is what my title is going to be. That's how we vacation. So I've got these thickers. There is no adhesive left on these things. I think I got these from Tuesday morning, so my guess is they've been stored in either heat or cold or something like that. So the adhesive on the back is just completely gone, which works in my favor because I have to move it around, move it around, move it around. Oh, the tweezers, that's what I started talking about. I bought them at Expo. They have very, very sharp points. I stab myself with them all the time, but they're great for getting the little backing off the foam tape, and then just for picking things up because they're so narrow. They're so pointy. I will have to glue those letters down with my art glitter glue here. It's there again, there's just not any sticky back to them. So we will need to do that. Oops, there it goes. Starting to run away. I should probably I'm at 300%. Maybe I'll even cut this out. Do you guys want to sit and watch me glue these letters down? The good thing about art glitter glue, oh, I had lost my eye. I was like, where did my eye go? I think it was stuck to my arm. It's like they have adhesive when you don't want them to, and then all of a sudden they don't. Anyway, so it's stuck to my arm, I think, but I found it. So yeah, my art glitter glue. The nice thing about art glitter glue, it does glue dry clear. So if I kind of swirl it around or it's not perfect, it's okay. Okay, and then even still, I did take a little piece of paper and kind of took the way extra glue because I was gooping it everywhere. Okay, then I'm going to use these small little foam thickers. I love these things. There's actually white on one side and then navy blue on the other, and I just love them. I need to look and see. I picked up a second pack. You can see that underneath there at Hobby Lobby, there was some kind of sale going on. I'm like, ooh, I need some more of those because I had used quite a few of the vowels. Although I do appreciate there's a lot of vowels. I was using a collection the other day, and I'm not going to name the brand because I do like the brand, But I got so annoyed. I realized that this particular sticker sheet had three of every letter. So it was like three A's, three B's, three C's. The aggravating part is there's three E's and three K's and three Q's. Like, why would I ever need three Q's? Right? So I'm like, give me like one Q and five E's. I don't need three Q's and three K's. And, anyways, I was a little annoyed after I started looking at that sheet of paper and I realized I was running out of E's. Okay, so I've got my That's How We Vacation. Now kind of comes the fun part where you start looking for and I say you, I guess we all do this, start looking for the fun little goodies to put on it. But I do want to create like a little cluster in the lower right corner. I believe that was on the sketch. So I'm looking through, I need to cut like a little strip of paper. I have that pink one because I do want to use it across the little cluster. But now I'm like, okay, do I want to use this flower down here? But I think that's a little too much flower next to each other. So I end up settling on that green turquoisey color there, I think. And I'm going to cut just a little bit. I think it's like a 1 by 2 or something like that. And I'm going to create this little um, set of paper cluster here that just creates a little shelf to add goodies. And I'm going to use my art glitter because it's so skinny. The tape would just, any kind of like ATG or something is just going to be a little too thick. So I use my glitter glue here and I'm going to create this little shelf of paper. Isn't it funny how we call them shelves? But it's true. It looks like a little shelf. And I'm going to cut that and just adhere that down. There we go. And I like how that coordinates. And I'm going to end up adding a square element and then a little camera. I'm probably about to have to pause this video, y'all, because of this whole stay in place. I did order some lunch to be delivered. No contact delivery, but trying to support the folks that are just earning a little cash any which way they can. So I'll pause it in a moment when my food gets here. Actually, I think it's here. Okay, guys, so sorry for the interruption. Hopefully this doesn't turn out really odd. Um, anyway, so at the moment I'm now going through various little embellishment things I have. I keep it's Totally Tiffany Thickers um, organizational box things up on my desk, and I just have a bunch of little there's a bunch of thickers like titles in there, and then I also have a handful of these little like adhesives or these little stickers with um, they're just little goodies. This is technically for Project Life, so there's like days and things, but there's also little arrows and other little kind of random goodies that I kind of enjoy. I don't do Project Life. I've contemplated it. It looks cool. And then I say to myself, Christine, are you really going to keep up with that? Because honestly, I don't even take that many pictures anyway um, during like just regular daily life stuff. It's usually either events or, I mean, I do take pictures of daily life, but it's not like every day or every month or whatever. It's generally just, oh, isn't she cute today or whatever maybe. But so I don't know that Project Life is a good fit for me, even though I really like the style. So I found that little word phrase there. It's a little chipboard thing um, that I've put there, and you see I've got a little wax paper with a few um, items that I'm contemplating, and I don't know what I'm doing right now. I've gone off somewhere um, looking for something. I'm certain. I think I made this comment in my last video too that I need to get a little more organized when I'm starting a layout. I usually have my papers all together, and I know what I want to do with papers, but all the little embellishments, unless it's a collection, I don't typically have um, too much stuff sitting there, and I end up having to get up and wander and look and all that. Um, so I've got this. I think it's Hatfield, Jen Hatfield, a little collection of this sticker set. You can see I got it from Tuesday morning, and I found that little, I don't know what shape that is. It's like a diamondy hexagony thing with a flower on it. Thought that looked kind of cute with all the flowers, so I put a word sticker on that. And I'm looking at these other stickers thinking, can I make any of that work? I mean, I love that that flamingo is just too cute. It's a good little collection. Um, but I don't guess I found anything just yet. So y'all, I did get my lunch, by the way. The DoorDash did the no contact delivery, which is nice. Texted me the picture, and my boss called at the same time. So it was kind of a hot mess there for about 15 minutes, trying to figure out how to get all this stuff organized. Um, Now I'm going through a sticker book, and I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a little label or sticker or something I can use in this lower right cluster. I'm thinking, do I want the day? Do I want um, who knows? I'm just looking. Is there anything with the right colors, basically? Um, and I think this is where I find my little square. Yeah, I find a little square, and then I'm gonna find another little like word, like almost like cartoony. I guess I don't find it in that book. I must find it in this book. No, that don't seem right. That's a Maggie Holmes book, I think. I find it in another one, and it says super on it. I think that's right, and it's pretty colorful. Yeah, here it is. I like using these sticker books. Actually, that's a little cloud to add little touches of stuff. The stickers tend to be kind of thin because honestly, that they're really intended, I think, for planners. So they're a little bit thin, but they can be a great little addition to your scrapbook page as long as you don't need a lot of dimension. In fact, sometimes the thin ones are really good. So here I'm going to just really adjust this. I have that little puffy camera sticker. Um, and I just think that turned out pretty cute down there. It's filled that cluster out kind of nicely. Anyway, my lunch showed up and I had ordered a sweet tea to come with it, and the person texted me while I'm on the phone with my boss, asking me what I wanted instead of sweet tea, and I'm trying to figure out how to answer this darn text because I'm also getting a phone call at the same time. Um, and anyway, I'm not getting my sweet tea. I had to get a diet drink. I guess that's just God's way of saying you didn't eat all those calories, Christine. Anyways, now I'm going through, I've got these little puffy heart stickers on this. It's like raindrops and hearts. I could not tell you what collection that's from. I'm certain somebody gave it to me somehow, some way. I've inherited it. But anyway, I like all these little puffy hearts. So I'm going to organize these around the page. Um, and I just think they're a cute little touch here. I do like puffy stickers. It's really funny. I don't even remember using puffy stickers until fairly recently when I started seeing people use them on YouTube, I think. And I was like, oh, puffy stickers. And then I went looking, and sure enough, I had some. And I'm like, why have I not used these? These are so cute. Okay, I don't think I'll leave that there either. I think that's a little too heavy on the bottom of that. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. No, I do. I'll leave it. I like it. Okay, I think that's really about it. I think I'm going to go through here and just glue the edges of things down. I think it turned out pretty cute. I like the brightness. I like the fun colors because the whole purpose of this is just talk about, again, how we vacation and how we're kind of crazy that way. As you guys know, I'm not doing stills and all that. Check out my Instagram. I'll put the handle on here. I can't figure this dang stills out. So love y'all for watching me anyway. And thank you for your patience. And have a great day. Stay safe, social distance, and all that stuff. So, anyways, talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.